The Sunday School lessons for December the 8th, 2024 are God's Promise and a Very Fine House, 2 Samuel chapter 7, verses 4 through 17. Welcome, viewers and subscribers, to my channel, Read With Me. I am Audrey. If you are new here, please know that this is an audio reading of the lesson and the lesson summary. Please subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and help this channel grow one viewer and one subscriber at a time. Verses 4 through 5. But that night the word of the Lord came to Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, this is what the Lord says. Are you the one to build me a house to dwell in? Verse 6. I have not dwelt in a house from the day I brought the Israelites up out of Egypt to this day. I have been moving from place to place with a tent as my dwelling. Verse 7. Wherever I have moved with all the Israelites, did I ever say to any of their rulers whom I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, why have you not built me a house of cedar? Verse 8. Now then, tell my servant David, this is what the Lord Almighty says. I took you from the pasture, from tending the flock, and appointed you ruler over my people Israel. Verse 9. I have been with you wherever you have gone, and I have cut off all your enemies from before you. Now I will make your name great, like the names of the greatest men on earth. Verses 10 through 11. And I will provide a place for my people Israel, and will plant them so that they can have a home of their own, and no longer be disturbed. Wicked people will not oppress them anymore, as they did at the beginning, and have done ever since the time I appointed leaders over my people Israel. I will also give you a rest from all your enemies. The Lord declares to you that the Lord himself will establish a house for you. Verses 12 through 13. When your days are over and you rest with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring to succeed you, your own flesh and blood, and I will establish his kingdom. He is the one who will build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Verses 14 through 15. I will be his father, and he will be my son. When he does wrong, I will punish him with a rod wielded by men, with floggings inflicted by human hands. But my love will never be taken away from him, as I took it away from Saul, whom I removed from before you. Verses 16 through 17. Your house and your kingdom will endure forever before me. Your throne will be established forever. Nathan reported to David all the words of this entire revelation. A brief summary. God had a message for David. Not only would his kingdom be successful, but his dynasty would also be eternal. Through the prophet Nathan, God established a covenant with David. He promised him greatness, stability for the Israelites, relief from their enemies, and an ongoing Davidic dynasty. He foretold that the temple would be built in Jerusalem, a house for my name. God promised that David's house, kingdom, and throne would be established forever. God's covenant with David is a major theme revisited repeatedly throughout the Old Testament. Not only did the Davidic line of kings continue to reign in Jerusalem without interruption for almost 400 years, but the prophets of Israel began to reveal that a future king would come from David's line to be the Redeemer of Israel, the Messiah. Psalm 132:17, Isaiah 11:1, Jeremiah 23:5, Ezekiel 34:23 through 24, Zechariah 12:10. The New Testament reveals the promised Messiah's identity, Jesus, called the Son of David and the King of Israel. Matthew chapter 1 verse 1, Mark 10:47 through 48, John 1 and 49, and John 12 verse 13. Jesus himself was the fulfillment of this covenant, the promised heir to David's eternal throne. Thank you so very much for listening. Join me soon for the next audio reading of the lesson and the lesson summary. Stay safe and may God bless.